Hey guys, and welcome back to a very rainy Divine Journey 2. So yesterday we managed to complete out LightningCraft, and today we're going to have a look at Extreme Reactors. In preparation for this, we did add a few more automations, primarily the passive automation of luminescence dust, which I have recentered. I realised this was off-center by one, so I moved all the machines around. We also added dark solarium and black iron to the passive wall. So I think at this point we're actually ready to start crafting this thing. So I put in the recipes for the casings, and I've been batch crafting a bit more mystical iron in preparation for this. Basically we need one casing core for every 4 reactor casings. There's the first quest at least. Alright, so yeah, most importantly we need the reactor controller, which is a very big craft here. Okay, so we need inverted potentia. We can get this from the environmental accumulator here that we have set up with EvilCraft blood. And there's our inverted potentia. 4 impetus cells from thermic augmentation. And these things actually take a fair amount of ender cores. So we have the inactive ender cores automated, although I think we will have to look at some of these advanced ender alloys. And we have the basic one, this version automated, but the rest of them are not on passive yet, which is something I think we'll add fairly soon. However, I do want to look at a way of activating these automatically, which is what this setup is for, which is just an ender chest and an interface. So we have a pattern inside which sends the inactive ender core. This will place it inside the ender chest. And this ender chest is hooked up to the one in the end here, which will put it inside the mechanical user. And if you right click one of these inactive ender cores on an end crystal, it will activate it, and that will put it back in the user, where we have a filter on here for the active version. Send it back to the ender chest, and then it gets sent back into the ME system on the other side. So that automation was actually due for many episodes actually. We should have done that a long time ago. Every 3 or 4 episodes, maybe, I take a trip to the end to activate them manually, but we don't need to do that anymore. So yeah, back to the reactor controller. The condensed potentia is, well, very easy craft to do in the infusion crafting, which leaves some more casings, which we just made, and yellorium blocks, which is also the fuel for the reactor. Over here at ore processing, we do get yellorium dust, and I didn't really want to filter it into these furnaces we have. These things are always full with dust, and we really need a lot of yellorium this episode, so I've also set up this furnace here, which is the Elite Smelting Factory. This can smelt 7 stacks at once, and in fact this compacting drawer could probably do with a few storage upgrades on there. Let's just almost max it out. So yeah, this thing is what's going to produce our reactor fuel. But as for the controller, we're just missing these impetus cells, which we have on autocraft now. Alright, so the impetus cells are finished crafting. Let's see if I remember this recipe. Do we have our controller? We do, awesome. Oh nice, it gives us 10 impetus crystals. These are not cheap things. Okay, so before we can set this up, there's a few more reactor bits that we need. I'm sure many of you are familiar with these extreme reactors. So we need a fair amount of these control rods, which takes some more of the casings, some logic programmers, which is going to be actually a lot of applied energistics processors. This could take a little while to craft. But the redstone alloy we should have on passive. We'll also need recipes for the fuel rods. We actually need quite a lot of these ones, which is a lot of Skyfather ingots. That is what all the lightning is in the background. And then some reactor glass, which is actually cheap in this pack. And then, is there anything else we need? Yeah, I guess we need the input port, which of course takes a Thermcraft chest. Okay, let's get a recipe for this one. And we'll also need a power tap, which is how we extract the RF from the machine, which does take a cryostabilized flux duct. Apart from this infusion craft, we may have to gather some more sodium for this. I think we should be able to make this. Yeah, many episodes ago we set up this magma crucible and fluid transposer combo. So we have molten gelid cryothium here to infuse our flux duct with. We are, however, missing a step for this resonant flux duct. Or actually, where is it? This one. We're missing this fluid transposer for redstone, and the rest of these are just crafting steps here. So yeah, we have to go through multiple tiers of these thermodynamic flux ducts. Although once we get to this step, we do have to fluid transpose, and then more crafting steps, then the infusion craft, then the fluid transposer with gelid cryothium. Which is exactly what this setup here is going to handle. And I know it's a little bit inefficient just spacing machines out like this so much, but this space above here really wouldn't be used otherwise, and it looks pretty cool like this, so yeah, this is just the same setup that we have over there, except it melts redstone and will fill up the flux duct for us. Oh, we just have to enable the output for this too. Oh, and I almost forgot we're going to have to add the empty cryostabilized flux duct into the filter of the fluid transposer here, and put the pattern into the interface. So now can we request the flux power tap? We're missing flux crystals. Well, this is convenient. We already have the destabilized redstone in the fluid transposer. We just have to add a pattern for the pulsating crystals to make flux crystals. Oh, and it looks like we do have the sodium required for this. I'm a little scared to check how much of this we actually have, but so that should send it to the infusion matrix. There we go. So there's the quest for the rods, and the power tap has just finished crafting. And the last piece is the access ports, and we'll make 2 of these things. I think technically you can get away with 1, but it makes things a lot easier if you have 2. Okay, so we have our reactor components, but the next question we have to ask ourselves is where we're going to place this thing. I think that it would make a lot of sense to put it next to our rainbow generator, and we're going to want it fairly close to this induction matrix to output the power to. But how do we squeeze it in here? This thing isn't going to be a small reactor either. I'm thinking about going maybe 15 by 15 with this. Somewhere in that region. We might as well go big or go home. Is there space maybe underground here? Maybe we could dig out a little space under here? I'm gonna have to think about this some more. Alright, so we now have a reactor. Well, it's not fully complete yet, but yeah. I decided to put it on the other side of where I was originally going to place this, underneath the rainbow generator. And I've also built a second staircase here to connect up to the underneath section of the space. Technically there is also that entrance there, which leads up to where all of our extra utilities generators are. But yeah, check out this reactor. It's not quite finished yet, we're still missing a few fuel rods. And to be able to craft more of these things, we need to make some more Skyfather ingots, which are currently crafting, so we'll add those as we get the ingots in. But yeah, the external dimensions of this thing is 15 by 15 by 11 tall. So yeah, we went pretty big with this thing. And to get this to actually form the multiblock, we either need to fill this out with the fuel rods, or we have to take away these control rods. So I think until we get the fuel rods in, we can just replace these with casings. So if we've done everything else correctly, when we fill these holes in here, the multi-block should form. Oh, we're actually inside this thing. I didn't know it could form with us inside. Yeah, there we go. We've got a reactor. Alright, so 2 more things to get this thing up and running. We need to hook up the fuel. So we'll extend our AE connection from underneath these rainbow generators. And this will hook up to an interface and ask for yellorium. Oh, apparently we only have 3 of these things. Did I forget the storage bus on that output of the furnace? I did forget the storage bus. That should fix it. So now we should see a full stack of yellorium. So from the interface we need to insert into the reactor. So this one I guess can be our inlet port, and the other one we'll set to the outlet port, which will give us our cyanite ingots. Yeah, you can see the fuel rods are now filling up with the yellorium. Okay, so we also want to extract the power from this thing. There's no use in wasting this, so yeah, we have to somehow get the power from here into the induction matrix. And for that, I think we'll use a Phantomface. However, this is too far away. The Phantomface has only a range of 16, and this Phantomface basically acts as if you're plugging this matrix directly into the output port. But yeah, the range is a bit of an issue here. So we have 2 ways to fix this. We can either move the reactor, which I'm not a big fan of, or we could move the induction matrix. And that does mean voiding all of this power, and I think also our AE system will go out temporarily. So we want to make sure that we can actually move this thing without having to access our AE system. Yeah, I hope I don't break too much doing this, but here goes nothing, I guess. Okay, we got everything moved over, and somehow it actually kept the power in this thing. I thought it would have been voided if we broke the cells inside. And I've also ended up with 2 spare induction casings. I'm not sure how that happened, but I think this might be different dimensions this time. But yeah, we got the 3 power cells for different channels that we input to our base. Actually, we may have to add some more conduits here. It looks like we're not filling this one up. We need some more connections on this side. Now we're filling up. Okay, I think this one is actually our quarry, which is the biggest power drain. But yeah, now we're in range for the energy Phantomface, which should extract all the power from this power tap. And the last part we have to deal with is the fuel output, which is the cyanite. And this was basically the whole reason we set this up. So yeah, let's get a drawer for this thing. I hope this access port actually does auto output. That would make things very easy for us. But I guess we'll find out here. So I think all that's left to do now is to turn this thing on. Yeah, our heat shoots way up and we are filling on our energy buffer. Is this thing filling? Looks like it. Oh yeah, we're at already 2 million RF a tick. That's crazy. Oh, and this does auto output. This is awesome. Nice. Although ideally we do want a storage bus on this thing. So maybe let's move this up 1 block. And that way we can put an ME conduit in this block space. Then the smart cable. Then the storage bus. Nice. So this induction matrix could probably do with a few capacity upgrades. This can only hold 51.2 giga RF. And we only consume about between 70 and 75,000 RF a tick. But yeah, already we're at 4 cyanite. I don't know how much of this stuff we actually need to actually get going with the crop sticks, which is the main thing I'm looking forward to here. The quest does call for 8 cyanite. I wonder if we can get any more fuel rods at this time. Let's maybe request another 32. Yeah, let's add in another 2 control rods at least, just to get a little bit more fuel burn. One thing I'm curious though is, does this thing stop when the power tap is full? It doesn't seem to be. I think we're still at the max burn rate here, which is about 4 millibuckets per tick. So I think right now we get a piece of cyanite every 20 or 30 seconds. So yeah, all we have to do at this point is just let this thing run. And I think in the future as well, we're going to repurpose our rainbow generator, as we no longer need this thing for power. So we can pretty much just leverage this to make things like rainbow stone. And as for the top layer here, I've actually no idea what we're going to do with this. If we're going to cover it up or maybe show it off, maybe we'll put some reactor glass here actually. I'm not sure, but we now have a big ugly square box in the middle of our base. Oh, and I also almost forgot about these control rods. So we can actually set the insert of the rod insertion inside. But actually I think we want to leave them on 0. If we were to increase these, this would lower the fuel burn and decrease the heat inside the reactor, which would give us less cyanite. So I think we want to leave these on 0%. Yeah, you can see our fuel burn has went all the way down to just under 2 here. And this is at 40% insertion on the fuel rods. With our cyanite now, we have to create some plutonium. And this is actually the last quest in this chapter. So to create plutonium, we have to alloy smelt this with mystical iron, which is the ingot we made last episode with the cold iron, the black iron, and this divine underpowder. So I was going to create this plutonium ingot on demand and set up a pattern to smelt the cyanite and mystical iron, but why not continue with the motto of passive everything? So let's just add a couple more alloy smelters to our passive wall. So the first alloy smelter is going to take the black iron, the cold iron, and divine underpowder, which is not on passive yet. We'll have to figure something out for this thing. And we'll have to make sure to add all these resources to the interface back there. And this is a legacy system, so it's a little bit of a mess behind this wall. Let's see if we have any channel space and also interface slots. And we're at 7 channels on this line, so we can afford 1 more interface back there. Oh, and actually our cold iron is not on passive either. Maybe we should switch that to a passive process, as technically we do have thaumium on passive, so I mean I guess it wouldn't be that hard to modify our setup. So yeah, that should give the first alloy smelter the mystical iron, which will output to this drawer. Then we'll filter that along with our cyanite into the second one, and this will give us our plutonium. And the last quest. Nice, so that should open up Astral Sorcery for us, which it does. I think we'll save Astral Sorcery for next episode. But today I've been looking forward to getting into crop sticks. However, to make the crop sticks we do need Growth Infusion liquid. So we have to put our blood magic corrosive will to use, which has been set up underneath our Hellfire forges for quite some time. And we've managed to build up just over 13,000 of this stuff. So yeah, the corrosive will shouldn't be any issue. Okay, so starting at the bottom of this process, we have to create some cloud seeds, which means we need a vat. We're going to place a pulverizer on top of this, and we're going to filter silver ingots and ice into our interface. And make sure that we actually plug this in. I have a horrible habit of leaving things disconnected. So the ice will be filtered into the vat, and the silver will go into the pulverizer. And we have a few different options of what we could use here in the first step of the vat, but silver gives us the highest multiplier on the output of the cloud seeds. Oh, and it looks like we can actually use packed ice here for even more. Yeah, let's switch this out with packed ice instead. Both versions of the ice we should have on passive anyway. And the last thing we need for this setup is a water supply. And that will be sent into the first vat. Nice, so this is going to distill down into the cloud seeds, which I think we have to concentrate again. Yeah, this we have to send into a second vat. It looks like we can actually use electrum here for a higher multiplier. But since salt is already at the setup, we may as well just continue to use this. And instead of using the automatic output feature on the pulverizer, we're instead going to extract on the conduit and set this to round robin for both of the vats. We need to give this a capacitor and hook up power. And we can auto output this cloud seed into the second vat here. And the final step is to combine the corrosive will, the plutonium dust, and the concentrated cloud seed from this one. So we'll place the third vat, and we'll need a second pulverizer for the plutonium. And why not just output this to a black hole tank? So it does only take 10 millibuckets of Growth Infusion to make one crop stick. We get 200 millibuckets per piece of plutonium, so that's actually a decent amount of crop sticks per plutonium dust. Oh, and it looks like we do need this later on for our essence of extension. Yeah, I don't think I want to look at this right now. And I think the crop sticks is something we'll do on demand as we need them, just since it's more versatile to buffer the infusion liquid than the crop sticks. So we can add a processing pattern for the fluid transposer, and stick this in the interface below the transposer here. Oh, and it looks like we're already out of plutonium ingots. Oh, I just forgot to set the output on these alloy smelters. Well, that would help. Yeah, send the output to the drawers. Now we're getting more plutonium ingots. Okay, this black hole tank still has another 200 processors to make. So let's put a regular tank in just for now. And we'll set up fluid conduit on the back here to insert into the fluid transposer. So now I think we can request our crop sticks. There's our quest. Nice. Oh, this has been such a long time coming with crop sticks. So I've been doing quite a bit of seed farming here, and we have almost all of the tier 2 and 3 crops. The most important ones we still have to craft, such as the redstone, lapis, copper, all of the basically tier 1 ingots. But we already have things like coal seeds, obsidian seeds, HOP graphite is another seed that we have, along with things like the end seeds, the glowstone, and the nether quartz seeds. So yeah, this is something that will continue throughout the rest of the pack, is unlocking the rest of these ones. And now that we have access to the crop sticks, we can actually breed these seeds together and increase their stats. Unfortunately, to view the stats on the seeds, we have to have a seed analyzer from AgriCraft. However, this is blocked by Vibrant Infused Wood, which is an astral sorcery craft, and that is all the way down at the bottom of the chapter, I believe. Yeah, that's down here. However, there's nothing stopping us from leveling these seeds with integrated dynamics. So I would like to set up a system to automatically put in the seeds, which will start at 000 stats. We can set something up to automatically insert the seeds. Those will then go through a series of crop sticks, which will then be analysed by integrated dynamics. And then the fully max leveled seeds should be output to some sort of inventory where we can plant it in our new farms that will be set up somewhere in this area over here. Alright, so I think I got this all built here. It did actually take me quite a while, but this is not an original design actually. I followed a tutorial on YouTube, so full credit to Grom. I'll link his video in the description if you're interested. But essentially the way this works is we input a seed. In this case we're using gold seeds since we're relatively low on gold. And when I say low, we have 41,000, so it's probably the lowest of the basic resources that we have though, so yeah, I decided to start with gold. And we have to input crop sticks to this. Once we plant the first seed, this will show the stats on this display panel. And this is the addition of all 3 of the stats. So on the seeds we have the growth stat, the gain stat, and the strength stat. This basically affects the rate of growth and also the crop yield. And the third stat on there is for weeds, which are actually disabled in this pack, so we don't have to worry about the third stat. And when these crops mutate to the middle crop stick, it will compare if it's higher or lower than the left or the right. And if it's higher, then it will replant. it will break these ones and replant the left or the right. And if it's lower, it just gets output to this chest here. To help speed this up a bit, I've added some hydrators on the back, but this will take a while to level up all of our seeds. In fact, it'll take many hours to level up all of the seeds. However, I think that's something we'll save for next episode. I don't have a lot more time today, so I think we'll wrap up here. And I would also like to mention today that there won't be any episode tomorrow. I have some family plans, so I'm going to take a little day off, and then we'll be back the day after for regular scheduled videos. But I should still have a little bit of time to play to start planning out this farm. And that should allow us some more time for this reactor to build up, and get us some more cyanite. It looks like we're up to over 3 stacks by now. So yeah, I'm not sure if we'll get onto Astral Sorcery next episode. I really want to get this farm stuff fleshed out. And also unlock the rest of the seeds that we have access to at the moment. Kinda close now to the tier 4 seeds. We need access to the iridescent altar, I believe. But with the tools we have in this pack, I don't think it'll take that many episodes to get to the bottom of this chapter. And at that point we have access to seeds like Inderium, Elementium seeds we get access to, Diamond seeds, oh there's even Corallium seeds here as well. And that means we can also turn off a lot of the processes and alloy smelters here we have in the base, which will be nice for performance. But yeah, we're going to wrap things up here. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all on Sunday for some more Divine Journey 2.